Shag Harbour, located on Nova Scotia's south shore, is a small coastal village where almost 50 years ago marked an event that to this day leaves many questions still unanswered. Welcome to Shag Harbour's UFO Incident Centre, located just 8 kilometres away from Barrington Passage on Nova Scotia's south shore, where 50 years ago this October marks one of Canada's and possibly the world's most documented and unsolved UFO sightings. If you know Roswell, you need to know Shag Harbour.
The Shag Harbour incident happened in 1967, October the 4th. Late in the evening, around 11:30, a local witness from this area was traveling through from Barrington to Shag Harbour at the time, around 11:30, and the 4 or 5 in the car noticed the light over the treetops on a 45-degree angle with lights coming on and off at different intervals. They thought it was a plane crash going down, so they decided to follow and see where it went, and as they were going up to Shag Harbour, it disappeared out of sight and went into the water.
Me and a bunch of friends was in Barrington, and we were taking some of them home to Woods Harbour, and as we was coming up through Shag Harbour, roughly where the post office is, we see a bunch of lights in the sky, and it was in over the land here, not out over the water. And as we just thought it's an airplane, and as we was driving along, which was probably roughly 2 or 3 miles, we could see the light the whole time, and as we was coming up over the hill there, just before we got to the top of the hill, the light went from flat to a 45-degree angle, and we lost sight of it. As we made the top of the hill, we could see the light up off of there in the water, probably 100 to 150 yards from shore. And you got to remember, back then there was no street lights, and none of these buildings or houses was here. And even back there on the hill where we walked up, there's a lot of trees now, that was all barren land. But the light was up here roughly in the water, a couple 100 yards offshore, and it drifted the whole way down by here, roughly 200 to 300 yards offshore.
And what did that light look like?
It was a yellowish half globe, probably 16, 18 inches in diameter, what it looked like.
Supposed to be sleeping at about 12:30 in the morning of the 5th, which is only an hour from when Laurie's witnessed his incident. The house lit up on one end brightly. There was no moon, no full moon or anything like that, and no street lights. It just lit up and stayed stationary over the house for a matter of probably half a minute. And as the light was leaving, there was a whistling and tumbling sound coming down from the sky in the same direction that the light came from.
And although the original UFO is long gone from Shag Harbour, there is still a place where people can visit, learn, and see for themselves of what really happened here almost 50 years ago.
They can expect documentation, probably witnesses, actual witnesses that's left on the site that can explain from the first-hand point of view. We have gift shop, we have a small mini theater in here with doing the review on the incident that happened in '67, a documentary. There's documents on the wall stating to the fact that the government did a very thorough investigation. This went to a very high level in Ottawa, and the documentation's on the wall.
And this year marks a very special milestone for the Shag Harbour UFO Centre, as come October will mark their 50th anniversary.
September the 29th and October the 1st and the 2nd and the 4th we'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary. Wednesday the 4th is actually 50 years to the day of when it happened. We've got a festival going on. We'll have local and keynote speakers from around different places, both from local area and MUFON in the States. We'll have them here on as guest speakers during Friday afternoon. Saturday especially will be a long one. We'll have a costume party and a dance. Sunday there'll be guest speakers, local guest speakers that people can interact with one-on-one. And then there will be reenactment drive-by the site with the bus and the police and the Coast Guard.
And whether you believe in UFOs or not, that doesn't dispute the fact that on October the 4th, 1967, almost 50 years ago, one of Canada's and presumably the world's greatest UFO sightings happened right here in Shag Harbour, Nova Scotia, and to this date has yet to be solved. Reporting in Shag Harbour, Nova Scotia for Ian Swinimer Reports, I'm Ian Swinimer, and thanks for watching.